Today we're going to be talking about how to clean up your businesses, so how to fix your corporate organization. We have a lot of clients that we see here at the office that are, for example, startups. They've been in business for 2, 3, 4 years, and they come see us for their first big transaction, or they're getting their first investor, or they signed a contract, or they need us to draft something for them. And then we get their books, and they're really not great. Today we're going to talk about the things that you necessarily need to ensure are well done in your businesses. So this is why I call it a legal cleanup. We're going to run through them today. The first thing that you want to make sure is always really well done in your business are your articles of incorporation. The reason why I put this one first, A, because it's one of the most important documents in your business, but B is because a lot of startups will come see us when they're getting their first investor in the business. And what ends up happening here is they tell us, okay, this investor is going to come in. We want to give them certain shares. And then we look and they don't even have a share capital structure to work off of. Our first step is always that we will take their articles of incorporation and we will modify them. So we amend them. And here we'll add in the 4 schedules that I talked about in my first video on how to start a business in Quebec. Here we will typically add in a very extensive share capital structure for our clients. The clients will get either 6 or 8 classes of shares, and here this will give them a lot of flexibility and mobility. If ever they have new people that are going to be entering the business or a new investor, then they can grant them different shares than what they personally have in the business. So this gives them a lot of flexibility and mobility, like I said. That's the first thing that we'll always look at when we are cleaning up our clients' businesses. The second thing that we always come across that's usually either not done at all or not properly done are our clients' minute books. This is probably one of the biggest and most extensive endeavors that we have to go through. The clients will come see us after 3, 4 years and they've either never had a minute book or they have a minute book and they just have never touched it. And during that time, they've made 5, 10, 20 changes in their business. I always stress about the importance of why a minute book is so important. I've done a video on this before. If you haven't seen the video, you can go check it out. It's called What is a Minute Book and Why Do You Need One? But most importantly, your minute book needs to be updated every single year. And it also needs to be updated every time there's a change in your business. If ever you have a new shareholder, if ever you have new directors, if you issue new shares, if you transfer shares, any type of resolution, change the name of the business, it should be inside this book. If someone picked up your book, they should know from A to Z exactly what happened in your business. So it's really a legal paper trail of your business. This is where, like I said, we will take our clients' books. We will either make new books for them, or we will take their books and see all the changes that have been done on the enterprise registry and reflect it back inside their books. Typically at this stage, because they haven't had a book or because they haven't been updating their book, we will have to include what's called a washout resolution. The washout resolution will wash out everything that has already been done, and the shareholders and the board of directors will approve and ratify everything that's already been done in the business, and you kind of get like a fresh slate to start from. We'll always do one of those and we'll put it in the book just in case there was something that was missing that maybe wasn't there that we couldn't find or we didn't know about. The last part of our legal cleanup is the contracts, and this is the part that's probably the most difficult. It's difficult because if you are a startup, and we are talking about startups here, or you've been in business for 3, 4 years, or sometimes we've had clients that have been in business in 10 years and they have this as well. Some of them will have verbal contracts with their employees or with their independent contractors or verbal contracts with suppliers. And they will come see us and they will either A, tell us that they have a verbal contract with so-and-so individual, or they will show us the contracts that they had people sign, and we have to work off of those contracts. This is why I stress the importance of always having a business lawyer in your business, because what ends up happening is that they either sign things that they shouldn't have had people sign, or they have verbal contracts with people, but they don't remember what the contents of those contracts were. And the worst thing that you could have happen is have one of those people sue you and say that this is the content of what was said, and you're not even aware or don't even remember what was said. It's super important for you to have your contracts drafted and revised by a lawyer. But if you haven't, what we'll typically do is we will get our clients in the office and we'll have them basically spill the beans and tell us everything that they've had signed to the best of their abilities. And from there, we will backtrack. If they had people sign contracts, for example, employees or independent contractors, and those contracts are not great, we will draft new contracts, and within those contracts, we will annul every previous contract that was ever signed or drafted, whether verbally or written. And if they're verbal contracts, we try to get those done in writing and again, annul everything that was verbally said. But to even do this step, you have to acknowledge the fact that there are some things that will evidently slip through the cracks, because It's difficult for them to remember when they've done so many transactions exactly who they made deals with verbally. This is why I always stress, do not ever do verbal contracts. Gentleman handshakes do not function. If you are doing a written contract, make sure it's drafted by a lawyer. This is typically the way that we would do a legal cleanup for our clients when they come see us for their first big transaction, before we even touch anything else. I've attached a PDF checklist in the info box below, and you can check out that checklist. It'll give you a good idea or a rough idea of some of the things that you should really keep out for in your business when you are doing this legal cleanup. And if ever you need us to help you in the process, if you're not sure how to do it, it would be our absolute pleasure to help you. You can find all the contact information in the box below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We upload new videos every single Monday.